I live at one end of my hall, on the 15th floor. The elevators are right in the middle of the hall. A walk of about 20 yards from my door. I rushed down to the button and hit the down button, desperate to get to the bank before it closed. I needed to make a deposit. The elevator came almost once, and I slipped in and hit the L button. I could have hit the closed doors button, but I'm pretty sure that button doesn't do anything real, that I might actually not be wired to do anything. It only takes a couple of seconds for the doors to close anyways. They had already started to slide shut when someone yelled for me to hold the elevator. I'm a decent person, so I did. Pushing down the open doors button and holding it down when no one showed up for about 20 seconds, I started to get annoyed. After the first agonizing minute, when my arm was starting to get tired, I leaned out and took a look down the hallway. The door to 15G was open, and a man in a black raincoat was standing there, talking on his cell phone. I made a face. Admittedly, I was acting a little impatient. When the man in the raincoat didn't respond right away, I waved and helloed at him, and I generally tried to demonstrate my annoyance. He gave me a quick, dismissive wave and went back to his cell phone call. I came very close to leaving without him, frankly, but at this last second, when my impatience was wholly exhausted, he started walking briskly towards me and pushed me to the back of the car. I slid back inside, then stepped backward until my back was against the back wall of the car. I stared daggers at the man as he pressed the 2 button. He smiled back at me, his phone still against his ear. The doors closed.
You have to hate these things, don't ya?
He said, pointing at his phone with his free hand.
They rule your life.
I gave him a little tight smile. It was all he was going to get. I decided, not even a hi or nice weather. The man in the raincoat seemed less interested in small talk, however, than talking on his phone. At first, he needed to make sure that it still worked.
What? No! I'm in the elevator. If I lose you. I said if I lose you. Then no. Only if I lose you.
The connection seemed to work all right. However, because he quickly launched into a conversation I never wanted to hear.
No, seriously. She was doing some other guy. Some little dunk with a big job downtown and a BMW. She kept holding that over my head. Like driving a Nissan is a crime. Yeah. So I had to. I did it quick. Like pulling off a Band-Aid. No. Yeah. No. I cut her up in the bathtub and left her there. Right. See you soon. Bye. What did we do before cell phones, huh? Maybe we actually treated each other better back then. Talked to the people around us more.
I didn't reply. I was pressed as tightly as I could and managed into a corner of the elevator, as far from him as possible. That was a joke, right?
What?
He asked me, frowning. Nothing, I stammered. His frown turned back into a smile. He turned around to face the doors. We were just passing the 9th floor. I reflected on the fact that I needed to move to a building with faster elevators. As we were passing 7, he broke out the phone again and pushed a couple buttons.
Hi. Yeah, it's me. Yeah. The guy who just called. The one who murdered the woman in apartment 15G at 712 Piper Avenue. I was speaking with Chief Detective Polanski, but I don't suppose it matters. I told him I wanted to turn myself in. That they should send a bunch of cops and that I would go quietly.
He paused for a long time. Then he said,
Yeah, that's me. The one they've been looking for. What? I don't know. Maybe 5? Maybe 6? Well, when you're cutting a girl into pieces, things get a little crazy. Sometimes you just dream you were doing it. Anyway, that's not what I wanted to talk about. Your cops are already on their way, right? What? They're downstairs? Wait for me in the lobby? Well, that's good. You see, I've changed my mind. I don't want to go quietly anymore. I've got a gun, pretty big one. The second these elevated doors open up, I'm gonna start shooting. Any cop I see is going to be target number 1. I'm not going down until I take at least one cop with me. You getting this? You writing it down, you little dunk?
I could hear someone shouting on the other end. He closed the phone and the shouting stopped. The elevator passed 3. Please don't hurt me, I begged. The man in the raincoat shook his head, not even turning around. The elevator reached the second floor, and the little bell chimed. The door slipped open in a normally empty hallway, just like the one I had left a few minutes before. The man in the raincoat stepped out and turned left, heading for the fire exit stairs, the stairs that led to the building's back door. Before the doors closed, he turned and looked at me one last time.
Enjoy the rest of your trip.
And smiled. The doors closed again. I started breathing again. I hadn't realized I'd stopped. I had been so scared, so terrified for my life. I lurched away from the wall, then turned around and grabbed the railing. I was shaking and sweating. I couldn't stop. Behind me, the elevator bell chimed again. I had reached the first floor. I heard sirens, and then the door slid open.